a very good afternoon to you, and it's a surprise. You can hear my voice at this time of the day. It's supposed to be at 4, right? Well, I'm here right now because it's special, and we are here to talk about our environment. My name is Choma Unkwanta Ezengwa, and I have with me in the studio Project Coordinator Abia Newmap Engineer Izuchukwu Omuhara. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Ma, and good afternoon to our listeners.
And I also have the Chairman, National Environmental Society, Abia State, Dr. Uchenna Oyezu. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. It's Nigerian Environmental Society.
Okay. Nigerian Environmental Society. Yes. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Well, I said we're about to talk about our environment. And first of all, why are we talking about the environment? What's so special about our environment?
Everything about us is about the environment. You can't do anything without the environment. It's environment that has kept us alive, has sustained us, has provided all the resources that we use on a daily basis to survive. So you can't do anything without talking about the environment. But unfortunately, environmental issues or discussing environment or having regards for the environment are not being seen as a major issue and as a major thing. So that's why we need to talk about it so that people can really appreciate that you don't do anything sustainably without talking about the environment and its resources.
Okay. Fantastic. The World Environmental Day is supposed to be on the 5th of June.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken. So why's that day special? What's so special about the World Environmental Day? Why is it that every year on the 5th of June the environment is celebrated?
Yeah, it's important because most of the time the things that very much matter in our lives are taken for granted, particularly the environment. The air you breathe, the water you drink, the place where you build your house, where you do your farming, how you manage to come from home to office this morning, the kind of vehicle you enter, the kind of emissions that came out from the vehicle, the noise that you experience in your environment, either from the marketplace or from religious societies, whatever. It's all about the society where you live in. The interplay between the living, the non-living things, the activities of human beings. How do they make us to live a better life? What can we do to sustain this single earth that we have, to make sure that whatever we do is sustainable, like my brother did, so we can make maximum impact, maximum use, and yet leave the earth good enough for another generation to enjoy.
Okay.
Yeah, coming after us.
Leave the earth for another generation to enjoy. Are you saying that we're spoiling the earth?
Definitely. We'll spoil the earth more than we should. During the industrial era,
yes,
was when probably the world or the human observed that we've done a lot of damages on the earth. And about 1972, there was the first conference that was called on by the United Nations to talk about the environment at Stockholm in Sweden.
Okay.
And thereafter, the issue about environment became known to everybody, and there was mandates for every country to domesticate it and talk about it, develop policies that will address the environment. And since then, on the 5th of June, this 5th of June, we now make it 50 years. So we are celebrating the Golden Jubilee for it. So we're excited to do that and want to use that opportunity to talk about it. For this year's theme, the theme is Only One Earth.
Only one Earth.
Exactly. Okay. Meaning that we should be aware that we only have one Earth, one home, one source of environmental resources, and if we spoil it, if we damage it, we don't have any other place to live. So it's very important that we become conscious of that.
Okay, we have to be conscious about the earth, and we should realize that it's just one earth that we have. If we destroy it, we probably will not live anywhere else, or we'll go to Jupiter.
Incidentally, the temperature there has not been shown to be
favorable for human habitation.
Okay, so we have nowhere else to go.
Nowhere else.
It's Earth and only Earth.
Exactly.
All right. One of the major concerns about the environment is pollution. Pollution is a great concern. Back then in school, they teach you about pollution, air pollution, noise pollution, water pollution, and all of that. So let's talk about pollution. What human activities would you say we are engaged in presently in this year 2022, most especially in our country, Nigeria, that is destroying our environment?
Quite a lot of them.
Okay.
One, begin with our way of living, the things we do where we live. How do we build? Our pattern of infrastructural development helps to create pollution. How do we manage the solid waste that we generate in our daily living, in our commercial activities, in trading, in industrial production? Standards have been established for one, how to treat your solid waste or your liquid effluent to a point that it is degradable and safe before you can discharge them to bodies of water. Conventions and standards have also been established on how to handle solid waste and how to dispose them effectively. But what do we see? Taking these two areas, you see that the improper management of such waste that are generated, which I might say are very obvious and necessary, the improper management of such waste is leading to pollution. When we generate waste in our homes, what do we do with them? The factor here is throw them into the gutter when rain is falling, and we don't bother where the drainage is taking the solid waste to. What do we do? How do we monitor the effluent, liquid effluent or solid effluent that comes from industrial concerns? Are they monitored? Are they treated before they are dropped into bodies of water? How safe is our drinking water on account of the industry that operate around our rivers? So what we call anthropogenic factors, man-made factors, are actually leading to a lot of pollution. Check out people who have vehicles. They do not bother to work on their exhausts, and all forms of black sooty fumes are exhumed from these vehicles as they move around. I'm sure you must have heard about the problem of Port Harcourt City,
yes,
where the incidence of illegal refineries in the forest has created a lot of soot in the environment, and people now have running nose or even bleeding nose and all of that.
And the sky is always dark.
And the sky is always dark. So our living standards and the things we do and how we handle the waste that we naturally generate, they are causing pollution in the environment.
So ideally, you want to contribute that?
Yes, I want to contribute to that. Unfortunately, we started the orientation that we all have as we came on earth and as we were born wasn't mainstream with the orientation of how we treat our waste, the waste we generate, how we make us conscious of our pollution footprint, and it has a lot to do with our lifestyle. How do you live your life in such a way that you don't generate unnecessary waste? You don't also generate a lot of pollution that could cause a lot of damage to the entire environment. So these are the things which you should be conscious of.
Okay, so Doc, let me just throw the question to you. How do we live that kind of life and be conscious of waste disposal? Remember that we create waste every day. Sure. And we're supposed to just go to the refuse dump and just dispose this waste. So what else can we do when it comes to waste management?
Yes, so it's about orientation, it's about information, it's about of course in most cases we depend on government to ensure that this information are being given to the general public. Yeah. But however, with time I intend to see where such information or such education could be mainstreamed in our primary school education system, our curriculum, so that people become aware of these things at the early stage, and it will not transform into their attitude, into their lifestyle, into their behavior. If you are generating a waste, as you are generating it, you should have that subconsciousness to know where that waste gets to.
All right.
And once you do that, that proper management begins at that level. Not you throw away your waste and you don't care where it gets to and how it gets to. How is they're being disposed properly at the end of the day. So these are the things we need to start mainstreaming into our systems.
Unfortunately, though, that's like the lifestyle of a majority of us.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
We just
generate and we don't care about how it's being disposed.
If there is this mentality of a chain, a cycle, from me it should go to this, and from there it will go to this. If I have an idea of the tail point, the final destination of my waste, it will make me to be more conscious of what I'm generating and where I'm dropping it. If I finish leaking tom-tom and I have the wrapper and I fling it in the air from my car, I should be able to think of where is it going to land.
That will also make you reduce the waste you generate at the end of the day.
Okay.
Well, if you understand the nuisance such waste will cause at the end of the day, it will your subconscious will guide you in generating waste. People just generate the waste hoping that government should take care of it, or another person will take care of it, or nature will take care of it.
Now, speaking of waste, what about situations where we have to recycle? Does recycling have any effect on the environment?
Yes. As part of the campaign for Only One Earth, we are not only teaching sustainable use of the environment, we're also teaching recycling of waste where it is possible. Particularly pollution. Some 2 or 3 years ago, we celebrated the World Environment Day with the theme Beat Plastic Pollution. And again, pollution is reoccurring what we're doing this year. And the idea is, if it can be recycled, please recycle it. If it can be used again and again, make sure that you can reuse. Recycle, reuse.
Okay. Now I'll beg you to please break down what recycling is, so that somebody who just hears the word often and on will say, what are they talking about? But then when they know what it is, they probably will start practicing it.
Good. Reuse. Let me start with reuse. If there's a plasticware that I can use after the first usage, then I should be able to keep it clean, possibly sterilize it, and make sure I use it again. If I don't do that, I'll probably go and buy that same ware and increase the volume of that quantity in the environment. So it will be better and safer. If there is one that I can reuse, then let me reuse it. Then coming to recycle, we talk about if I can break down that material and send it through a process of being used to reproduce another of such an item. If I use a plastic bottle, for instance, or a disposable plastic plate, and I can take it to a factory where they can crush it and use it to produce pellets, plastic pellets, which can be sold to plastic making factories to be used as resin for producing another round of plastic. So instead of throwing it away into the environment where it may take between 50 and 100 years to decay, I can send it to where it can be crushed and be used as byproduct to produce another container. That way we limit the quantity of that resin that is in the environment.
Okay, so that's basically what recycling is.
Some people might look at it as transformation of waste to other products, right? Technology has also helped us to improve on recycling processes, whereby some products can be transformed to other products, other very useful products, to enable us reduce the amount of waste we generate by the day. And also it will also help us to generate more resources within our environment,
and also keep some people busy in terms of economic means. For instance, a lot of the plastic bags you see outside under these entrepreneurial programs, you see we have been taught arts and crafts of making our bags out of them, using disused tires to make a furniture. Yes, and all of that. So everything must not go down the drain. Whatever can be salvaged and reused and recycled, they are seriously encouraged.
Okay, so one way for you to properly dispose your refuse is by making sure that you know the final destination of that refuse.
That's right.
And you can also engage in recycling.
Yes, we might also call it a greener lifestyle.
Greener lifestyle. We are talking about the environment in commemoration of World Environment Day that will be happening on the 5th of June 2022. And there I've got with me in the studio engineer Izuchukwu Omuhara, who is the project coordinator, Abia Newmap, and also the chairman, Nigerian Environmental Society, Abia State, talking about Dr. Uchenna Onyezu. And yes, they've been telling us some of the activities that we engage in consciously and unconsciously, and we damage our environment when we do some of these things without even knowing. Well, the World Environment Day is happening on the 5th of June. I'm sure the activities lined up already on your part concerning that day. So let's look at what is going to be happening on that day before we now go back to some of the activities that we still engage in as human beings that destroy the earth.
Yeah, as part of the activities to mark the World Environment Day on the 5th of June, we'll be starting with the road walk on the 2nd of June, which will be Thursday. All the environmental stakeholders within the state will gather together. The Nigeria Environmental Society, the State Ministry of Environment, NEMAP itself, Nigeria Institute of Architects, Nigeria Institute of Town Planners, Nigerian Society of Engineers, and many other stakeholders within the built-up environment sector will gather together, and we shall have a road walk, a kind of sensitization around the cities of Umuahia and Aba, to remind our people that we have but one earth, only one earth, and that we should do everything we can to keep it on and alive.
Okay.
That will happen on the 2nd of June.
On the 2nd of June.
Yes.
Which is in
Thursday, a few days from now. Today is 30th.
Yes, a few days from now. All
yeah,
right.
of course, from the perspective of the Nigerian Environmental Society Abia State Chapter, we are collaborating with NEMAP to implement all these activities. But we also have some specific activities that are a little bit outside what they are doing. On Friday, we plan to do a tree planting exercise across the 3 senatorial zones.
Okay.
Of course, only one earth. One of the focus is to have a greener environment, and in doing that we intend to plant more trees so that we can have more trees to take care of our climate change related issues and other issues that we need to address within the environment as we destroy the environment with our behaviors. On Saturday, we intend to carry out a seminar where we talk about different issues around environment at Livelihood Improvement Family Enterprise Office at ADP office here. On Saturday, we also intend to collaborate with some religious organizations, some churches, to educate Abians on tree planting, and also carry out some tree planting exercise. That's primarily what we intend to do. Okay. However, the key thing is, how do we mobilize Abians? How do we mobilize everybody that is resident in Abia to join in these activities? You must not come to join us. You can take care of your environment within your environment. So you can decide to get 3 to 4 species of trees or different trees of your choice and plant within your environment at your backyard. And you remember today to thank us in future for planting a tree. Okay,
so we can plant both cash crops and
any kind of tree. It's your choice. Okay. It's your choice. Depending on the environment. Of course, plant a tree today. Depending on the environment you find yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. Within the general purview too, we are going to be doing statewide tree planting as part of that celebration. Apart from what NES will be doing as
that's the Nigerian Environmental Society.
Yes, as the umbrella environmental organization in the state, really.
Yes.
Yeah. These other partnering groups will also do elaborate tree planting. We are getting in touch with local government areas within the state to make sure that at every local government headquarter there will be a gathering and there will be the symbolic planting of trees. We are trying to gather some species. Already NEMAP has a nursery of exotic tree species, and we are going to be bringing them out and distributing to individuals to plant.
Okay.
Make sure you plant a tree.
Fantastic. Now, these are some of the activities that will be done to mark the Day of the Environment, which is the 5th of June 2020. It's 2022.
In fact, by planting a tree, it reduces your pollution footprint.
Okay.
For each and every one of us, in our various activities, we generate pollution by our activity. So by planting a tree, you've helped to reduce your own individual pollution footprint. So you are doing yourself good.
A favor.
A favor.
All right. Now, speaking of tree planting, one activity that is usually engaged in majorly in Nigeria, all parts of the country, is deforestation. Yes. So, what is your organization doing when it comes to deforestation? You're talking about us planting trees, but as we speak, deforestation is still ongoing.
Yes, it's a very fortunate thing because we are not engaging in a well-planned development of our various areas. Unfortunately, or generally, globally and locally, there's this conflict, or there's this little conflict between the economy or the people within that are pursuing economic activities and people trying to take care of the environment, because it costs a lot to take care of the environment. You deny yourself. It doesn't really make much economic sense when you are involved in environmental protection and conservation. So there's this little conflict that we do have, because everybody is looking at how to make money as much as he or she can. However, and in the course of development, you cut trees, you deforest.
Okay.
But what we are saying, we say for us that are into environment management, we are not talking about you not cutting trees, but how do you cut trees in a sustainable manner? Because you must make use of these resources to survive as a human being. So that's where the problem is, and that's why we need people to understand that fact that there should be a plan, there should be a process to doing some of these things, so that at the end of the day, if you are cutting, you are planting more.
If you're planting more. Okay, we cannot say this enough, and we cannot emphasize on the importance of planting trees in our environment. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue this conversation. It has got to do with our environment, and it's only you that can save your environment. Don't go anywhere. It's Flow 94.9 FM, the Flow of God's own state, and we're discussing World Environment Day, which is going to be happening on the 5th of June 2022. And this year's theme is Only One Earth, and this is a special program with the project coordinator Abia Newmap, engineer Chukwu Nwara, and the chairman, Nigerian Environmental Society Abia State, Dr. Uchenna Onyizu, with me in the studio this afternoon. You have been hearing from them. We've talked about the environment, and there are also activities that is going to be taking place as regards the build-up to the celebration of the environment that is happening on the 5th of June. And some of those activities include the tree planting exercise that will happen across the 3 senatorial zones, also the road walk that will be happening on Thursday. Where is the start-off point for the road walk?
From the state secretariat.
From the state secretariat. So from the secretariat, in case you want to meet up with the team, you can start.
We'll be having a mixed team of the Federal Road Safety Commission and the police to guide the persons to make sure that they do not get into wrong hands.
All right, fantastic. Now you've got questions to ask concerning our environment, and you want to find out how best, what practices you can put in place in your life to make sure that you are not endangering the environment. So let us hear from you. Just call us on 0808 1826 949 or 0811 6052 949. Also send us SMSs to 0906 510 8289. We're talking our environment, and we're looking at ways to safeguard the environment and make it safer for us, for our children, and the generation to come. So that at the end of the day, we do not destroy the only place we have to live in. And one of the activities...
That's the whole idea of sustainable development.
Yes. Excuse me. Hello? Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What's your name?
My name is Goodness.
Goodness, you're welcome. Do you have a question or what's your contribution?
I have a contribution.
All right, let's hear you. Goodness, we're listening to you.
Okay, please.
We are listening to you. Go on. Okay, please do well to call us back. The number to call 0808-1826-949 or 0811-6052-949. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you. What's your name?
Okay,
You're
I
welcome.
want to make a special recommendation for Engineer Ibu.
Okay. Okay, we can barely hear you. Please speak up.
Yes, as an engineer, he's not only a civil engineer, by excellence, he is a spiritual engineer. He has been a good engineer for this, he is going to level Nigeria now. So we are so proud of him, and I cannot be proud and have a brother and a friend like him. And I thank him for his colleague in the studio who's been doing a really nice job in the respect to the nation and so many things on the mighty level. I think that God continue to bless his effort, his family, his team, he's working with us and on, and bless for effort for putting him on air in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Thank you, my brother.
Okay. All right. Still call us up if you have contributions and questions to ask on 0808-1826-949 or 0811-6052-949. There are other activities as human beings that we also engage in. Overpopulation is also another problem when it comes to the earth and the environment. You see people moving from the cities. They are now moving to say for instance in Lagos, for instance, they are leaving the areas we know. They're leaving the hub and going to interior towns, and they're still calling it they're still calling it Lagos. Even in Port Harcourt, they're also moving from the hub and they are moving to the hinterland. It says that the whole place is overpopulation is another problem when it comes to the earth. So
it's difficult to engage in that, but for me, for the environment, the key is the orientation that we have.
Okay.
What is the knowledge we have about the environment? How can we take care of our environment? Because if you go by that, you could have like 20 number of people within an area.
Yeah.
And they are so careless with the environment. They are not taking good care of the environment, and they will deplete it within few days and cause a lot of pollution based on their lifestyles and the kind of knowledge they have about taking care of the environment. And you could just have much more than that in terms of you could have less number or much more than that, and because they have good knowledge about the environment and they are living a sustainable lifestyle, they could now take better good care of the environment. So it depends on the information you have and the kind of orientation you have, the kind of lifestyle you have with regards to the environment and environmental resources.
I can also add this. You see, when we are living most of the time in the center of the urban areas, it was because people came together in search of white-collar jobs, which today are actually non-existent. And as that happens, you discover that the total number of persons per square kilometer living inside the urban centers happens to be so high that they are competing for air, they are competing for water, they are competing for every of the natural resources, they are competing even in terms of the infrastructure within the city. And so what's happening is that people are beginning to disintegrate, if I may use that word. We're trying to move apart now, get into the local suburbs where perhaps the air is fresher, where there is more food, where the incidence of pollution of the air, of the water is highly reduced. But again, we're not bringing the factor of what are you bringing to the locality. If you are bringing the rough life, if you are bringing unsustainability to the community, if you are bringing a very hard use of natural resources to the community, discover that you're also creating more nuisance. But if you can live at peace with the environment, you can live green lifestyle, you can live sustainable life, then in that hinterland where we are going, we can make more impact.
All right.
So it's all about their lifestyle.
Okay.
And how you see the environmental resources.
It's all about your lifestyle and how you see environmental resources. Call us up and make your contributions on 0808-1826-949 or 0811-6052-949. And in case you're just tuning in, we are live on our Facebook feed, so you can catch us live on Facebook at Flow 949 FM. We're celebrating World Environment Day today. Hello. Good evening or good afternoon, please. Your name and you have to speak up. Emeka, you're welcome.
Well, I want to say something concerning this. Is it environmental degradation or lighting of food? I don't know.
What's your question again, please?
I just want to be clarified on the main topic of the case because I have few questions to ask, but I don't know whether it's going to be relevant.
Okay. Ask your question.
Okay. Because I have a problem with the environment or the way the government is managing the environment or the agency is capable of managing the environment. I know we have to do with category of issues. You think this will third around at the tip of the market to be precise. You see this zone. And then it's very difficult I don't know whether agency is control of capable I don't know whether we say that malfunctioning or the laws that are tired or we just don't know what to call it because it's not about environmental issues, solution. It has to be, there should be, there should be a total way of doing this, no? Because if you have to go through control of doing this, the country around the third country election, when the government are whoever, because otherwise it's not that situation. And you see, the way it is being managed is the problem. But I think we are there to be able to clarify this, or only advise the government to.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Okay, that call got disconnected. Hello, good afternoon. All right, you would want to react to this?
Yes, it's quite unfortunate that the way the environment is, or the way the environment is being managed, is what it is, and because everybody blames the government, everybody wants to blame the government, we ignore our own behavior and responsibility. It's a collective responsibility. It's a collective thing. After all, at the end of the day, what government takes care of at the end of the day are what you produce or you generate as waste. So I believe that if we all have the general information and knowledge and also know what we need to do and become conscious of the amount of waste we generate, it will also have less impact at the environment at the end of the day. So the thing is that, of course, government gives direction, government gives the policies, and of course we should all know that in Abia State we have policy directions on how to manage our waste and how to dispose our waste, right? But to what extent are we following those policies as individuals, as good citizens of the state? That's also a very big question we need to ask ourselves and also answer that. So generally, for us to be effective in waste management, everybody need to be participatory in it. Because we are the people that are generating the waste.
Okay.
And the type of waste we generate matters a lot.
All right. Okay.
Then just to add a little bit to what he said, it's not just enough to look up to government to do everything. Granted that there are times we see a lot of heaps of garbage, solid waste, and they are not carted away in time. But in the long run anyway, they get carted away. But we ask ourselves, what do we do to help ourselves as individuals, as residents, within a locale, within a community, within a hub, within a suburb, like in Alabama where our brother called in from? What do we do about solid waste? When we started, I made this allusion to people using drain and the rainfall as the means of disposing solid waste. It has become seriously entrenched, and that is one thing that this program is set about to correct. This sensitization, this enlightenment, that we could do an ordered and systematic control of the waste that we generate, that we can actually fall back on designated spots and drop our solid waste at the right time and at the right place, and then leave it to the government agency or body whose responsibility it is. Yeah, there's a charge to do the final casting away.
Yeah.
If we can do that, if I can be conscious of the fact that I don't have to eat banana and throw the peel from my car while I'm driving on the expressway, I can manage to be disciplined and leave it in my car and dispose it safely when I get home. If I know that I don't have to wind down my glass and put my nose outside and sneeze or spit out on the highway, conscious of the fact that somebody is driving behind me. These are orientations that we really need to get across to our people.
For example, I always give this example to any person that might care. Our lifestyle, especially our women, our mothers and our women, when they go to market, there's this lifestyle that is very funny within our system here, within our society. If you go to market, for every spot you want to buy something, you ask the woman to put in a polythene bag.
Yes.
At the end of the day, if you get to 30 items, you are buying 30 polythene bags, wrappers, right?
Exactly.
And when you come back and offload all you've gotten from the market, you see that your house is filled with
bags,
nylon bags that you're not making use of. It's a lifestyle that generates a lot of waste. So we need to change to such a lifestyle, and you must not also buy bags from the market. You can have one bag that is good, and you go to the market with it, from home with it, and as you buy, you put it in, and when you get home, you offload whatever you want to offload. And at the end of the day, you will see yourself a little bit having less waste to generate and less waste to bring bring aside at the end of the day.
What happened to the culture of women carrying some basket from home? My mother used to do that.
That was way back. We don't do that anymore.
What happened to the culture of using paper to wrap or green leaves to wrap certain things that are biodegradable?
Yes.
What actually happened to all of that?
And speaking of biodegradable, even Ogiri, they put it in plastic.
Common okpa, very precious okpa. Okpa is protesting. Okpa is not prepared in waterproof.
Yes.
Instead of the usual banana leaf.
So these are clear behaviors that we do that generate a lot of waste.
Okay. So we're going to be addressing women that go to the market and always insist that they give them nylon for everything they buy.
Exactly.
Madams, you have to stop. Okay? You can take a basket from the home to the market, or you can just have one bag. Nylon bag that you put everything that you buy from the market. Each seller doesn't have to give you a nylon. At the end of the day, you are saving the earth and you're protecting the environment.
And let's be conscious before you dispose, before you confirm something as a waste. Ask yourself, do you think you can make use of this thing again?
Sure. Well, this nylon thing, you were just talking to me, nobody else. We're talking about ways of saving the environment, and we're celebrating World Environment Day, and that celebration will happen on the 5th of June 2022. Now, there are activities as regards the build-up to the celebration that's going to be taking place on the 5th of June, and that is why the project coordinator, Abia Newmap, talking about engineer Chukwu Omuhara, and the chairman, Nigerian Environmental Society, Abia State, Dr. Uchenna Oyizu, are both here to enlighten us about our environment, our activities in terms of what we do on a daily basis. It's that we're either saving the environment or destroying the environment by our activities, and they have different activities lined up for us as regards the celebration of that day. There is a road walk that will be happening on the 2nd of June, and then there is a tree planting that will also take place at the 3 senatorial zones.
That's right.
Yes.
In the state. Let's take this call. Hello, good afternoon.
Very good.
Good afternoon to you.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm okay. My name is Comrade John Ogoke.
You're welcome.
Yes, I called from Inamba, Maine State.
Okay, what's your country?
Good afternoon, gentlemen in the studio.
Good afternoon, sir. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you. I am very, very happy this afternoon listening to all the discussions. Yes, we have to protect our environment, especially that area of what do you call it? Well, the polythene bags and the water proofs. Actually, I do caution my children as regards to that, because I don't like all those things littering the compound. That is why I usually burn them all. But I want to tell you, our government are not helping us. They are not helping matters. Especially these people we call we call them WOLA. That is all those environmental officials.
Okay.
Yes, because I could vividly remember that in those days, when they come to inspect the environment, they usually go around and check people's environment, how it looks like. But these days, you see them now, the community will just go keep them inside and give them food, give them envelope. At the end of the day, that ends the inspection. I think our government needs to do something about that. Yes, when we are talking of the environment, we need more sensitization from them. Not only on radio there, they have to go down to the communities and sensitize people. They need to protect our environment.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, our goals will be achieved.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello,
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. What's your name?
Yeah, my name is Dr. Emeka Ifeanyi. Good afternoon, gentlemen in the house.
Good afternoon. So you're welcome.
God bless you.
You too.
Yes, my contribution towards what you guys are talking is right. Like, we may come to my house, but I feel is everywhere. You go to the market, but they say they use it for diaper.
Yeah.
It's okay. Yes, but the problem we are having in our area, when we dump our refuse is too far from us. That is why you see that death in the gutter around your compound, because where they dispose this stuff is far from them. So if government can make an inquiry or just bring something for them to dump this waste after the day, motor comes and carries away. It's okay like that, sir.
All right.
Okay, that's noted. Thank you.
Okay. React to this and then we'll wrap the program up.
Yeah, actually there is the need to create more disposal or location spots for ASEPA. Here in Africa, in Nigeria, in Abia, our development most of the times outstrips the planning capacity of government. If you go to a place like Aba and you head into Amamawa, Nide, Goro, Umuabai, discover that people have developed up to 10 kilometers beyond the radius of what is known as Aba today. And you begin to wonder when will access road get to that place? Where would there be an separate disposal bucket in that vicinity, and so on and so forth? So it takes government trying to catch up with development, and it is made worse because people buy land and develop arbitrarily without resorting to planning. Because if there were structured plans for each of the neighborhoods as they are being developed, then the access roads, the electricity, water, and whatever will be factored in, as well as how to manage solid waste. But we'll get there. Definitely we'll get there.
Yes. I don't want us. I wouldn't want us to, continue emphasizing on this government thing. I know it's an issue. It's a problem for us, both in Abia and in other parts of the world and other states. However, I believe that the problem, the menace of waste, could be managed significantly by how we treat our waste on individual basis. Like I just gave an example of how it's not just women, even men, when they go to market, as they are demanding for 5 naira okra, they are demanding for a polythene. As they are demanding for a groundnut, they are demanding for a polythene. Everything they buy, they do, and they will come back with a lot of waste. We generate waste indiscriminately. So we should try to do that culture of managing our waste at our various home, at our own level, while we keep talking to government in terms of giving better directions, developing better policies, and giving that direction. Well, as we speak, government at various levels, they all have waste management policies and all that. But the issue is, of course, compliance and enforcement.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for stopping by and enlightening us more on what to do to save the environment. Remember, there is a road walk that will be happening on Tuesday,
on Thursday,
on Thursday, the 2nd of June, and then there is the tree planting exercise that will also be happening across the 3 senatorial zones in Abia State. Once again,
I want to encourage, beyond that, I want to encourage every Abian, try and plant at least 2 trees of your choice within your neighborhood.
Mango and banana.
It's allowed.
All right, thank you so much, Engineer Izuchukwu Onwuhara.
Thank you, for having me.
Thank you, Dr. Uchenna Oyizu.
Thank you so much for having me.
And have a wonderful program.
You too.
All right.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you.
The Flow Ride continues in a bit.